Do you remember the times when, if you wanted to achieve something, you had to work very hard and be skilled and talented and once again hardworking? Well, I do. And Marvel, I think they do as well, but it's not so these days anymore. Now, before we start, I encourage you to do your research on these two writers, Louis Simonson and Ann Nocenti, whom I consider to be one of the greatest comic book writers in the history of comic book publishing. Now, both of these women are over 60 years old, and they started working for Marvel Comics in, I believe it was in the 80s. And both of them started as, assistant editors and, positions like that. And gradually they worked their way up. And because they are hardworking women and very talented, genius women, they ended up writing one of the best comic books in the history and creating one of the most famous characters. For example, Louise Simonson, she wrote the best run on X Factor of all time. She also wrote Power Pack and New Mutants. Come on! She wrote Superman for DC Comics and, among others, as this Wikipedia page says, she co-created Cable, Steel, Power Pack, Doomsday, Apocalypse, the villain from the X-Men, and Nocenti, the best Daredevil run after Frank Miller that was ever written, and co-created such characters as Typhoid Mary, Blackheart, Longshot, Mojo, and Spiral. Now, these women will forever be engraved in the history of not only Marvel Comics, but comic book industry in general, right? But today's Marvel seems to be just caring about ticking boxes, because they're going to publish this comic book, Women of Marvel, issue 1. And it says, the future is female. Get in on the ground floor with this amazing assembly of writers and artists from all over entertainment. Comics legend Louise Simonson kicks things off with a must-read introduction. So they got this genius woman, Louise Simonson, to write an introduction to a collection of stories, Marvel stories, written by women I have never heard of in my life. And when you look at their Twitter accounts, you know why Marvel hired them. Twitter basically works as a catalog, a hiring catalog for Marvel in 2020 and 2021. If you are a woman and if you've got in your bio something like, something that is worth ticking boxes, I'm not going to be mentioning anything specifically, but let's say that you most certainly cannot be a white man. But all the other things, you are their, well, not man, you are their person, right? So Marvel and DC Comics as well, they don't care about talent. They don't care about awesome, hard-working writers. They got one of the most genius writers, and most certainly the best female writer in the comic book industry, along with Ann Nocenti. They got her just to write an introduction for this shit, for this approved body type nonsense. Hey, I'm telling you, I'm going to read this comic book, I'm going to review this comic book, and I'm going to make a bet with you. All the stories are going to be poorly written and poorly drawn. None of these stories is going to be quality writing. I bet you that the best part of this comic book is going to be Louise Simonson's introduction, because she is a good writer. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, my friends, and if you accept my bet. And if you are going to read Women of Marvel issue 1. And if you love Louise Simonson and Ann Nocenti as much as I do, and if you've enjoyed something that they wrote in their life, because really it is worth it, and I do recommend reading everything these two women wrote, unlike this. Alright, so once again, let me know in the comments down below if you share my opinions or if your opinions differ in any way. And because YouTube is not very fond of free speech oriented YouTubers such as I am, please do not forget to like this video if you like it, or dislike this video if you didn't like it, and subscribe to this unimportant channel of an unimportant geek talking about unimportant things. There are many more videos to come. I'll be really old. See you soon, and goodbye.